you're going to cut the pericardium. Remember, the pericardium was the sac that is that the heart sits in. You want to remove that so you can take a look at the heart itself. Look at that. Notice this structure right here. See that structure? What do you think this is? We just went over this 20 minutes ago. No. This is the right auricle. The right atrium is going to sit underneath the right auricle. So this is the right auricle. If I move it this way, notice there's the left auricle. Right there, right? See? Left auricle, right auricle, right? Which means that the right ventricle is over here, and the left ventricle is on this side. There's the apex, there's the base. Simple enough. All right, now let's look at the, I can't turn that off right now, guys. I don't know what that is.
Every time you start.
Right? I should, by now you think I would put it on silent. Yeah, I know. Now, what I want to show you are the vessels coming out of right here. Okay. Now, what did I say that the first great vessel coming out of the heart was?
The pulmonary.
The what?
What did you say?
What was the name of the vessel that came out of the heart first? Or shall I say, if you go anterior to posterior, what is the name of this vessel right here?
It's not the brachiocephalic trunk.
No. This is the pulmonary trunk. See that? See this vessel right there? That's the pulmonary trunk. Right? And that's going to go to the lungs. If I go now right behind it, now we see this vessel. Do you see this vessel right here? What vessel do you think this is? That's the aorta, right? So this is in the middle. And if we go behind the aorta, now we see the superior vena cava, right? 1, 2, 3. Superior vena cava, right? Now, on the cat, if we look at the aorta, you'll see how many vessels coming off of it, off of the aorta. Do you know that the aorta is divided into regions? You can stand on the table to get a better look. You sure? All right. So, the aorta is going to go like this, right? So, you have the ascending portion of the aortic arch. You have the aortic arch, and then you have the descending portion of the aorta, and then you got the thoracic aorta, and then the abdominal aorta, right? Well, when you're in the aortic arch, you see this vessel. This vessel is the pulmonary trunk. Sorry, is the brachiocephalic trunk, right? Notice as I tug on it, it's tugging on 3 other vessels that are coming off of it. See that? See how it's tugging on 3 vessels? The third one is like somewhere over here, right? Well, this is the brachiocephalic trunk, which means that this vessel right here, if I can get it, I don't want to snap this little vessel right here that I'm picking up, this one is the right subclavian artery, which means that this one over here that I'm picking up, that is the right common carotid artery. And I could trace the right common carotid artery over here. See this vessel? See, here's the right common carotid artery. Now, the right common carotid artery has another structure that's traveling along with it. See this structure, this white structure right here? That's a nerve. That nerve is called the vagus nerve. You have the right vagus nerve traveling along with the right common carotid artery. and it's wrapped around each other right here with a sheath known as the carotid sheath. So running in the carotid sheath should be the common carotid artery and the vagus, right? The vagus goes all the way down and it'll separate and then it'll keep going down to here, right? Okay. Now, if we go to this part, this vessel, and I'm still talking about the brachiocephalic trunk that was right here. This vessel is the left common carotid artery. And notice, there it is. See? There's the left common carotid artery. Go, and it's currently wrapped in the carotid sheath, and you can see the vagus nerve running with it. All right? Now, if I go down to that vessel right there, that is the left subclavian, right? Because that's no longer coming off the brachiocephalic trunk. Does that make sense? Yes. See? Two vessels, brachiocephalic trunk, left subclavian. And the brachiocephalic trunk changes to the right subclavian, the right common carotid, and the left common carotid. Okay? All right. Now, do you see this structure right here? This is called the phrenic nerve. The phrenic nerve comes from C3, 4, and 5. In other words, so to remember, it would be C3, 4, and 5 keep the diaphragm alive. So in other words, it innervates the diaphragm. The diaphragm's over here, right? You should have one on the left, and you should have one on the right. I haven't isolated the one on the right yet. I don't think I tore it. No, it's there. Yeah, it's here. I'll get that later. But here's an example of the phrenic, right? Now, the vagus is still, since the vagus is coming down this way, you can still find the vagus nerve. See, here's my vagus nerve now. See, and if I tug on it, it's going to tug right here. So the vagus is going to come down like that. So that's the right vagus. Left vagus. Now, there's another structure that you guys need to see. And this is more of a pain to see, honestly. I have to dig it out. It's known as the sympathetic trunk. And you can find it running alongside the spinal cord, the vertebrae. No, that's not the esophagus. There it is. So this thing I'm lifting up. Actually, it's if you clean it up nicely, it looks like dental floss. And this is the sympathetic trunk, right? And it's going to run along both sides of the vertebral column, or along here, right? And coming off of it, you have little communicating rami that is going to go through, to each of the vertebrae, start to each of the ribs here, right? So this little dental floss looking thing is the sympathetic trunk. Okay. When you try to lift it up, you'll feel some resistance. So if you lift it up carefully, you'll hear some snapping. What you're breaking off is just a little connecting, communicating rami, right? That go on both sides. Okay. Now, there's another structure in here in the thoracic cavity that you want to pay attention to, and that is this structure. This vessel, I snapped it last time, so okay, I don't do it this time. That vessel right there that vessel is a vein, and that vein is called the azygous vein, or the azygos, however you want to pronounce it. My professor says azygos. I say azygos just to mess with him. So the azygous vein is the last tributary that dumps into the superior vena cava. That sounds like a bonus question. Maybe. But anyway, so this vein, so think of it this way. The superior vena cava drains everything that comes from the head, from the diaphragm up, right? The inferior vena cava brings back blood from the diaphragm down, right? Which means that all of the stuff here, all those veins, those tributaries will have to dump into, eventually, the azygous vein. And the azygous vein ultimately dumps into the superior vena cava. If I were to clean this up a little more, you can see that, look, it really is dumping into it. See that? See how it really is connecting to it? Right? It really is connecting to the superior vena cava, and the superior vena cava then dumps into the to the right atrium. Okay? So remember, the azygous vein is the last tributary that dumps into the superior vena cava. You probably won't see it on cats, but you can see it in humans. On this one, on the right side will be the azygos. On the left side, you would see another vein that's running this way, another big one here. The one over here will be known as the hemiazygos, and the one over here will be known as the accessory hemiazygos, and they all dump into the azygos, which is this one right here. And then the azygos dumps into the superior vena cava. And then that dumps into the right atrium. Okay? Good. All right. Now I'm going to briefly go over the sheep heart, and then you guys are on your own.